Hello there, Oddimus Prime here. In this week's retro review, we're going to have a look at this piece of wonderful plastic, which is Mask Raven. This came out in 1986 and was part of the second wave of vehicles that were released. It is modelled basically off of a Trans Am. Looks a bit like Knight Rider in many respects, including the fact that it has a slot at the front here that if this one had any of the launching discs, that would be orange and look very much like Kit's Wipey Wipey Woo-Wah. So let's have a quick look at this. Turn off the turntable because it makes annoying noises. And let's have a look at this lovely, lovely vehicle. Now, no fibbing here. This is a not particularly good example. My original one that I had has long since disappeared in time and space. I actually have no idea where it went. This one I bought a few years ago as part of a job lot. It's not in very good condition. I could probably pick up a better one fairly easily, but I've chosen at this point not to because it reminds me very much of what my one looked like by the time I got rid of it. There's a bit of a scuff here where the paint's come off. But just looking at it, it's just a really nice toy car on its own right. Some really striking decals with the sort of white and red sort of lightning laser beamy kind of effect. And yes, so with all Mask toys, they turn from a normal vehicle into some form of action vehicle. Some of them are sort of rescue vehicles, some of them are attack vehicles, all sorts of fun and exciting things, and the Raven is no exception. It turns into a seaplane for some reasons. I don't really understand what part of it is a seaplane, but hey, it's sort of boaty in its design, I suppose. But anyway, to convert this from car mode into seaplane mode, the first thing we're going to do is flip the front round, which is done simply by pressing this button here, which does exciting flippy flippy. So then the front becomes more boat-esque, and got some detailing on the top. This one was obviously used by somebody to play with in the bath, for it is rusty Screwville. So these wheels then flip round here, and you can also flip up these little gun launchery kind of things, as so, and you can position them to be gunny guns. It has the same on the back wheels, but you're going to flip those around there and they become sort of, I don't know, motory things. The little wings there, something that a plane could have perhaps on the back to release the engines. You pop that button and you get these little engines here, which do look more like sort of submersible vehicle kind of things. So that's possibly why the old seaplane thing comes from. And the gull wings then flip down like so to give it wings. And then there we have it in all of its vehicle mode glory. Well, attack vehicle mode. So it can shoot things, fly around, and yes. Now, if this one had any, and I could have sworn I had one, but I cannot find it for the life of me, but there'd be little discs that you could pop in there, which would then launch when you press that button, which is cool. And it should also have seat belts, but they appear to also not be in this particular version. So vehicle mode, sort of attack vehicle mode, is it's kind of cool. I really liked it when I was a kid. This particular vehicle I got for my birthday one year. Must have been about 9 or 10, and it was the first time I'd ever seen it. I hadn't seen it it wasn't in the cartoon that I'd seen at that point, and I hadn't seen any pictures of it. It just sort of arrived in my hands as a birthday present, and I loved it. So I've got a good affinity to this particular toy. It's the only Mask vehicle I currently own, although I am very keen to get hold of some more. But let's have a look now. Well, actually, let's convert it back quickly, and then we can have a look at good old Calhoun Burns, the pilot of this here vehicle. Now, as with all Mask figures, they are a smaller action figure. They're about 2 inches high, so significantly shorter than the 3 3/4 inch figures that were the mainstay of the 1980s. In fact, I distinctly remember being quite surprised when I found out how small these figures were. It's nice they have a little knee joint, and otherwise their joints are pretty much exactly the same as the standard 3 3/4 inch figures, as opposed to the more dynamic Real American Hero G.I. Joe figures, so more Star Wars than that. No joints in the arms, but generally speaking these figures are either sat down or standing up, not really doing anything particularly actiony. And they all have these wonderful masks. The second series ones actually look a bit better than the first series ones, because they originally were sort of smaller masks, and then they sort of made them longer and a little bit more choke friendly, I suppose. This one was one of the newer ones, and it didn't have quite the same designs. It was designed more with the anti-choke in mind, so it didn't look quite so retrofitted and terrible as some of the original ones did. But it has the holes at the top, so you can't die if you stick it in your throat, which is nice. But other than that, it kind of looks like a, said before, sort of a techno mullet. The bit at the back and the front is all business. So just pop that off and we can see his exciting face sculpt. If I can get my camera to actually recognize, there we go. There is his face. He is missing most of his hair because masks pop on and pop off and take off the hair. Pop that back on. He looks slightly less terrible. There he is. His mask is called Gulliver, and it did some things in the show, and I can't remember what it did. Masks, as I said before, masks kind of did what they needed to. They're supposed to do one thing, but they always seem to have a use that was slightly out of the ordinary. But anyway, that is Calhoun Burns, and pop him back with Raven. Focus. There we go. That is my quick review of Mask Raven. Thank you for watching.